Okay, well. Look at this. I guess I can get my screen on here now. Look at this. I'm actually starting on time. I can't remember the last time I actually started at 5. Is this even streaming? Hello? Is anyone there? Oh no. Am I talking for nothing? This working? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hello, David. Oof, I was getting concerned there. Nothing was showing up on my end that we were live, so I was concerned that I always forget which way do I go. No, I go this way. No, no. Okay, good enough. But yes, I'm finally on time for the first time in I don't know how long. And I apologize for the lack of warnings. I usually do like an hour warning, 45, 30, 15 minute, but I did a bad job at that today. Just straight up bad job by me, laziness. So I'll post to the community post here. I will tweet it. I tweet a lot. So if you don't follow me on Twitter and you want to, you can. But once again, I tweet a lot. So you're going to have to deal with some pretty dumb tweets. Good morning, Marty. It's currently 5 p.m. over here in the United States of America. 5 p.m. here on the Central Time Zone. Once I get this out, then I will follow up with all of you. And let's see, did that work? I'm always scared that it's not going to tweet the right thing. All right, I think we're good. Okay. If I have any problems, if the stream starts glitching out, do let me know. My Wi-Fi has been acting up today, so apologies for that. It's technically something I could control in a little bit of a sense, but for the most part, I can't really control it. Yeah, I'll say no more. I don't know. Maybe they'll hear me and they'll get mad at me. But yes. Hello, Max. Welcome to the live stream. The Monday after Kansas. What a weekend. Where do we start? We've got Australian Marty in the chat. We've got an oi oi mate from Max. Let's go to Xfinity. We're gonna do something unprecedented on the Monday after, and we're gonna start with Xfinity. All right, here you go. Here is the playoff bubble. We're gonna do our first bubble breakdown of Monday. Now, what's today? September 3rd. It's the last day of September. By the way, a quick little thank you to everyone. September has been the most viewed month of the channel in its history. That is a 7+ year history. So I very much appreciate the support. I very much appreciate everyone watching the videos, the live streams, whether it was, the quick little videos at Darlington, the 30-second videos, whether it's the full race recaps, the SVG recaps, whatever it may be. But I just want to say I appreciate you all. It's been a very, very good month. So, but let's get to our first bubble breakdown of the day. But yes, hello to everyone that is here. Max, Marty, David, Grant. Thank you for the, whatever we call this thing. I always forget, super chat, donation, channel appreciation. I appreciate it. So thank you. Yeah, Grant is a friend of the channel. We all appreciate Grant around here. You've probably seen, if you've been here a long time, you've seen him in a couple of videos. So everyone, make sure to give Grant some love. And he's a big gamer, so if you want to go over to his channel and watch some gaming, he does NASCAR gaming. He does 2K, NBA 2K. He does Call of Duty, I think. I think he's got like a big series he's about to do over there. He's got 9 or 10 videos lined up to do over there. He also does some college football if you're into that. So everyone go follow Grant if you like gaming. But on to our first bubble breakdown of the day. Our first bubble breakdown will be the Xfinity Series because I see a couple people from Australia in the chat. So, we're heading to Talladega, a track that, anyone could crash. And, well, that's why no one feels good. Even Cole, if we were heading to the Roval, if we were heading, let's say this was after Talladega, heading to Kansas, I would say Cole Custer and Chandler Smith feel pretty dang good about themselves. But it's Talladega. No one feels good. So we're going to do it like this. Cole Custer and Chandler Smith are in Tier 1, and that is the we just got to survive tier. If you finish 19th and 20th, honestly, you'll still be in a good position because realistically, at least 4 of these guys will crash out, and all you got to do is beat them. Even if they get stage, like let's say Sam Mayer wins stage 1, gets 2 stage points in stage 2, but he crashes and finishes 34th. Well, Cole Custer, if you get 1 stage point and you finish 19th, you're about even on points on the day, so you got a good gap on Sam Mayer still. You still got about a 30-point gap on him, and if it's one of these guys below the cutoff line, well, then all of a sudden, your gap, you got a 40-point gap heading into the Roval, and you'll be fine. So Cole Custer and Chandler Smith, they are in the survive. Austin Hill, plus 26. I'm going to say he's the only one that's in great position because Austin Hill is dominant at these super speedways. This would be like, for those of you who are SVG fans, this would be like if SVG was heading into the Roval with this gap and you are anticipating him to expand that gap, even if he wrecks. Austin Hill is going to finish top 3 in both stages unless he crashes. He will be competing for the win, and even if he crashes, he'll have at least 15 stage points if I had to guess. And that'll be enough to carry him through the day. That's just my opinion. So Austin Hill feels good with a plus 26 gap. Then we go to this next tier, and this is where it gets complicated. I'll get to the comments in a minute. I just want to finish this bubble breakdown. So Mayer, Creed, and SVG are technically in the same category, but SVG's it's a completely different situation with him. So Mayer and Creed, that's a nice gap usually, but that can be easily eliminated if you crash early. If Mayer and Creed got to survive the first 2 stages. If they can score stage points, they don't even have to score 10, 9, 8. If they can score 5 stage points, realistically, some of these guys below the cutoff line may not score any. And all of a sudden, if you just get a couple on them, you've built a little bit of a buffer. But if you crash, you're still in a bad position. So Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed are sweating a lot, but at least you got the gap. Concern level on a scale to 1 to 10 would be like a 6. Shane Van Gisbergen, he's in a tier of his own because if this was another mile and a half, I would not anticipate him getting stage points, maybe 1 or 2 at most. But it's Talladega, and he scored stage points in the spring. I think he scored 5 or 6, if I remember correctly. I could remember incorrectly, and my memory sometimes doesn't work. But realistically, Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be fighting for stage points. He could very well be fighting for the win because Talladega, anyone can win. He ran really well in the spring. He had a poor result because they ran out of fuel. But if it wasn't for that, he would have probably had a top 5 because at the end of that race, it was Jesse Love and Riley Herbst, and everyone else was like back markers in the front of the field. So if SVG has enough fuel, if he survives, a top 10 is in the cards, maybe even a top 5, maybe, dare I say, maybe a win. He just can't get involved in a wreck. If he gets involved in a wreck, that suddenly he's not going to be in the plus if he's in a wreck. Because this can easily be made up in one stage. If SVG doesn't get stage points in stage 1 and Allgaier gets a top 3, all of a sudden Allgaier is in and SVG is out. So he's not comfortable heading into Talladega, but having the Roval, a road course after Talladega, makes him feel so much better. But if he goes into the Roval in the plus, he is going to be feeling so great about himself. So I think the goal for them is to leave Talladega in the plus or within 10 points of the minus, because that is extremely manageable. If you're minus 10 points, that is extremely manageable for Shane Van Gisbergen. So looking at Talladega, once again, he's in a tier of his own, and the concern is there because that points deficit can be erased just like that. A single car incident, a single car wreck, you're done in stage one. All of a sudden, you're 15, 20, 25 points behind. But if you leave in the same position you came in, I mean, they did their job this week. They're in the plus. And if you remember my recap, I said that I did not anticipate that. I anticipated them being a couple points, 5, 10 below, and they end up leaving this thing plus 8. Last weekend was a success. This weekend, though, they cannot have a massive screw up. Jesse Love is the most recent winner at Talladega. I expect him to be up front with his teammate Austin Hill scoring stage points. Plus 3 can be erased very easily. But because of how good RCR is at these super speedways, I'd say he's actually feeling pretty decent considering his position. Herbst feels terrible. Plus 1 can be erased. That's one position. Like, that can literally be erased on lap 1. Allgaier minus 1, the regular season runner-up, the most playoff points, and he used his mulligan at Kansas. Yeah, about the worst possible scenario for Justin Allgaier. He feels terrible heading into these next 2 races, unless he wins Talladega. If it was like Martinsville and if it was like Homestead and Martinsville coming up, I'd say they'd be fine. But it's Talladega and the Roval. You don't know what's going to happen. It's going to get silly. It's going to get freaky. So no, he does not feel good. He feels bad. Allmendinger through Sammy Smith, you might just have to win. So, yeah. That is our first bubble breakdown. Let's get to the comments because I got really behind on those. Klaus NZ says, thank you for playing the song. Don't thank me. Thank Shane Van Gisbergen. If he performed poorly, we wouldn't be playing the song. So, yeah. I'm the one who plays it. He is the one that does the playing of it, I guess. He's the one that gets it played. What's up in between the lanes? Hope you're doing well. Almost called a Martin Truex Jr. win. Yeah, he blew that final restart, definitely. Unfortunate for him. I'm going to shift to the cut points over here since we did our Xfinity bubble breakdown first here on Monday, September 30th. Marty asks, can you explain in layman terms how SVG started with plus 10 and ended up with a plus 8 after finishing 8th? Yes, it's quite simple, actually. Stage points. So Shane Van Gisbergen scored 0 stage points. And as I said, that's probably going to be his ultimate demise in the playoffs, is that he's not scoring stage points. If I had to guess, out of the playoff drivers, he probably has the least amount of stage points this year. I can statistically check that. So in the parentheses are stage points, which at the end of stage 1, the end of stage 2, if you finish first, you get 10 points. If you finish second, you get 9. Third, you get 8. Fourth, you get 7. On the word through 10th, 10th place gets 1 point. So if you finish top 10 in the stages, you get stage points, bonus points in a sense. And Shane Van Gisbergen at the Ovals has not gotten a lot of those because he's learning these tracks. So let's look. As I said, Shane Van Gisbergen, by a long shot, has the least amount of stage points. So Shane Van Gisbergen had a great finish, had a great competitive finish, got 20-something points with that 8th place finish, but the lack of stage points is cost him. That's why he went from plus 10 to plus 8, is because other guys, Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, even Jesse Love, I think Riley Herbst, they all scored stage points. Shane Van Gisbergen scored 0. So they all gained on Shane Van Gisbergen by scoring stage points. So it's ultimately going to be the difference, I think, at the end of the season between advancing or not. But this first round, once again, he's going plus 8 into Talladega. He's got to feel pretty decent about himself. So stage points, to answer your question, Marty, The lack of stage points is why he lost on the cutoff line instead of gaining, despite his very competitive finish. All right. It seems to me Denver says it seems to me all the Xfinity drivers at the end of Kansas were arguing, racing each other too hard, and SVG is just minding his business. Yeah, there was a lot of post-race arguments. No post-race fights. We haven't had a fight since North Wilkesboro. I don't think we've had a single fight in trucks. We had that confrontation with Lane Riggs and Cam Waters, but that wasn't a fight. That was a confrontation. We had the full-blown fight at North Wilkesboro when Stenhouse punched Kyle Busch. We had a semi-fight when Chris Buescher went up and shoved Tyler Reddick and grabbed his collar. I don't think Xfinity's had any fights. We've had some on-track drama between SVG and Austin Hill, but we've had no fights. Chandler Smith has yelled at some people. Some people have yelled at Chandler Smith. Sammy Smith and AJ Allmendinger had a disagreement. And who else? Riley Herbst and Austin Hill, they had a disagreement. So we didn't have any fights, but yes, a lot of drivers mad. Austin Hill admitted he messed up, admitted he made a mistake after he spun out Riley Herbst. Hold on. There's something on my laptop. Sorry. And then AJ Allmendinger spun out Sammy Smith or put him in the wall, and Sammy Smith went to tell him how upset he was. And what was the last one? Cole Custer and Chandler Smith. Yeah, it was just a racing deal, but he got put in the wall just a little bit, and Custer went to tell him that, he's getting him back, something like that. I don't remember the words he used, but he was not happy. So, yes, a lot of upset drivers. Then, as you said, SVG was just minding his own business because he didn't get into it with anyone. No one got into it with him. Did you see those lap times SVG was setting in the first few laps on Saturday? I definitely noticed how competitive his lap times were late in the race. Like, everyone was running around 34.1s, 34.2s, and he was right about there, 34.3s. So we had some guys dipping into the 33s early in runs, but I saw him. He was around the 34.0 to 34.2s for a good chunk of the second half of that race. Even early on, he was having some good laps. So, yeah, really fast. And once again, I think if he survives this round and makes it to the second round, I think Kansas could be a big experience. That track being there is a huge advantage because Vegas, the first race of the next round, is a very similar track. And that's a track that he got limited laps on in the spring. So I think it could play to not necessarily an advantage, but it could even out the playing field for him a bit. Maybe a top 10 is in the cards again. Maybe they can score some stage points. But first, obviously, the goal for SVG, get out of this round before you start stressing out about the next one. Toyota won 3 of the 4 races this weekend. I have no idea who won ARCA. I'm not even going to try to guess because I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to ARCA. No offense, ARCA. Truck Series winner was Corey Heim, as expected. Despite starting in the back of the field, he still won. And then Xfinity was won by Eric Almirola, Toyota. And then ironically enough, Toyota, who's dominated the next-gen era at Kansas, did not win the Cup Series race. They actually went 0 for 2 this season. Kyle Larson won in the spring, Ross Chastain in the fall. So Toyota, who owned this track at the beginning of the next-gen era, went 0 for 2 this year. I would have had a hard time believing that. But, Toyota really good this weekend. But ironically, just couldn't get it done in Cup. They had a lot of speed with Bell. Hamlin was up there, but Truex had a good finish. Gibbs had a good finish, but couldn't close it. Couldn't get the job done. That instead went to the Watermelon Man, Ross Chastain. You can wreck anywhere in Talladega, back, forth, and middle. Yeah. The back, the front, the middle, it doesn't matter where you are. I've seen the leader get turned in front of the field at Talladega. Tony Stewart flipping in front of second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then a 31-car pileup or however many cars that was back in 2012. I've seen a crash at the back of the field on lap 1 in 2020. And then middle of the pack, it happens all the time. So, yeah, as David said, like, you're never safe at Talladega, like, unless you're half a lap down. And in that case, you've lost the draft, so you're screwed. So, there's no such thing as safe at Talladega. No such thing. Paint schemes. Favorite paint schemes this week, asks In Between the Lanes. That is In Between the Lanes trademarked question. Obviously, the number one looked really good, the Kubota paint scheme. The Bet MGM on Kyle Busch looked really good, even though it spun out. And, man, just what else can go wrong for Kyle Busch this year? Like, if he's leading a race this year, how else is he going to lose it? It's mind-boggling, his luck this year. It's borderline stupid. And it's nothing to do with him. I mean, sometimes it is. Like, they've had a couple instances. Like, I look at Indianapolis. They weren't going to win that race, but they were going to have a really good result. And that was a really rough stretch for him. And he wrecks himself. But then you look at Sonoma. He's running top 5 and he gets dumped by Chastain. You look at Nashville. He's going to be top 5 or compete for the win. And he gets wrecked by Kyle Larson, who runs out of gas. Like, okay, that's not anywhere in his control. You look at this week. He tries to lap Chase Briscoe, and he wrecks himself. I can't explain his luck this year. I don't know why he's having this luck. I don't know who is putting it on him, but it's mind-blowing what's happened to Kyle Busch this year. Mind-blowing. And they've had a lot of speed since the Olympic break. Austin Dillon won at Richmond. Kyle Busch, top 5 at Michigan. Almost won Daytona. Almost won Darlington. Almost won Kansas. Bristol, they were pretty bad. Watkins Glen, I don't even remember what they did there. But for the most part, they've had a lot of speed. I would say Kyle Busch, look for him to be competitive at Vegas, at Talladega this upcoming week, and maybe even Homestead. The win streak is very much in jeopardy, but it's not out of the picture anymore. A month ago, I would have said it was out of the picture. Right now, though, I don't think it's quite out of the picture. I think he could go win a race. It's all just a matter if his luck decides to come back. But back to the paint schemes question. Let me think. The 23 looked good with Bubba Wallace, the Columbia black and gold paint scheme. That was a good-looking car. The 48, the new Ally look, that was cool, even if it was a one-off. Trying to think of any different ones. Trying to think of any unique ones. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. That's all I got for now. If I think of one later, I'll let you know. NY Racing fielding a car with... trust me. Alex, we will get to the entry list. We've got a very notable thing on the entry list for the trucks. There's an Oldsmobile in the field. And then, we will get to who is in the race. Don't forget SVG doing a double header at Talladega this upcoming week. David says Toyota nowhere to be found. That's a stretch. I mean, let's not act like Christopher Bell didn't lead almost half the race, and Denny Hamlin was in the top 5, top 10 the entire race. Truex finished in the top 5. Gibbs finished in the top 5. That's a stretch. 23-11, though, was nowhere to be found. Even when they played the strategy, they went backwards. Don't know what their problem is at Kansas now. They used to be like the owners of that track in the next-gen era, but now they are the mid-pack. Which is just mind-blowing to me, how in 1 year you go from dominating a racetrack to not even being close to leading laps. They didn't get a top 10 this year at Kansas. They went 0 for 4. Mind-blowing. Truly mind-blowing. Arca. Ooh, we're talking about Arca in the comments. Sawalich, Zilich, Jabowski. Sorry if I pronounced that name. It's like they pulled letters out of... That's spelled the last name. Yeah, definitely some interesting last names in Arca for sure, but that's where we see our young talent. So There you go. In between the lanes, Monday pick is Kyle Busch. We'll get to our Monday picks later, but in between the lanes is picking Kyle Busch to get his second Talladega win in 2 years. How does Eric Almirola win every time he gets into the 20? Is it really a Joe Gibbs special? All right, Marty. So you got to remember this. Joe Gibbs Racing is obviously the top tier. They are arguably the best car every week. They have really good race cars, really good organization, but they also have really good drivers. Eric Almirola is not like a young driver. He's not, if you look at their lineup, he's not a Ryan Truex. And Ryan Truex has quite a bit of experience. He's not a Ty Gibbs. He's not a Taylor Gray or Tanner. Which Gray is in that car? I think it's Taylor. He's not a super young driver. Eric Almirola is a recently retired Cup Series driver. Eric Almirola was in the Cup Series for over a decade. He won 3 races over his Cup Series career. And now he's back in the Xfinity Series. He's running part-time so he can spend more time with his family, so he can, race where he wants to race. And so Eric Almirola is not just some, part-time Xfinity guy. Like, this is a guy who was running in the Cup Series full-time a year ago. So no disrespect to the Xfinity Series field, no disrespect to the Xfinity Series drivers, but it is a guy who's in the Cup Series for a long time. It is a veteran driver. It is a talented driver, a good driver. So Eric Almirola, if you give him top-tier equipment and you put him in that Xfinity field, he's got a good chance to win almost every single week. Scorpius says, as a Chastain fan, Hamlin needs to pick up his game. I want to see more action between him and Ross. Well, firstly, congratulations to your driver. First win of the year for him. Second win of the year for Trackhouse. Just when we thought Trackhouse was trending down, they show up at Kansas. They showed up at Kansas in the spring. You got to remember, Chastain really good early in that race. I think he started on the front row. Maybe he started on row 2. But Ross Chastain led some laps in the spring, had a competitive car, and once again, they didn't qualify as well yesterday, but in practice, they had the long run speed, they had the race pace, and they show up on Sunday and they had the race pace. And once they got that track position, they never gave it up. They never relinquished it. They lost the lead to Kyle Busch, obviously, but as I said, just run up front, and that's what they did. So Ross Chastain continues his streak of getting a win at least every year for the last 3 years, ever since he's been at Trackhouse. That's now 3 straight years with a victory. Obviously not in the championship hunt, but winning is winning. You take them when you can get them, no matter how you get them, and that was a very impressive victory. In between the lanes, I heard that there will be... Camaro, it's up in the air with what Chevy is going to do next year. They're discontinuing the Camaro, so it's up in the air. We'll figure it out. My guess is over the offseason. We'll figure it out. All right, let's go do our bubble breakdown for Cup. Bubble breakdown for Cup. Once again, it's Talladega, so no one feels safe and no one's locked in, so that's horrifying for 12 drivers. Byron feels meh. I mean, that's a really good points gap, but I'm trying to think of the last time he had a good Talladega race. I guess this race last year when he finished second, because Harvick got disqualified. Okay, so if he does that again, he'll be fine heading into the Roval, but he's got a good points gap. I'd say he can afford a bad day. Now, he'll be really close to the cut line, but, some of these other guys will get involved in a wreck and whatnot, so maybe, just maybe, you'll be fine. So not a bad gap. Ryan Blaney feels great. He's a great super speedway racer. He about won Atlanta 3 weeks ago. He won this race last year. He has 3 Talladega wins, if I remember correctly. I was at one of them, so I know he has at least 1. And he's the defending winner, so that's at least 2. He won 2020, so that's at least 3. I might be forgetting one. Ryan Blaney's great at Talladega. He's going to be competing for the win. He's going to score a lot of stage points. So Ryan Blaney feels pretty good. Christopher Bell's all over the place at the super speedways. Plus 28 is not great, but you can afford a kind of bad race, kind of like Byron, same situation. Larson just, oh dear God. Larson, they blew it at Kansas. Kansas, they should have gotten a ton of stage points, finished in the top 5, and they should have been hoping to have a 50-point gap heading into this race. Instead, it's plus 18. And for Kyle Larson, plus 18 heading into Talladega is horrifying. Kyle Larson will more than likely crash at this race, more than likely have a bad result, maybe not even score stage points, but he's scored stage points here before. So that is scary. Same situation for Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin used to be, probably still is, one of the best super speedway racers in NASCAR. But his next-gen stats at super speedways have been horrendous. He's yet to score a win. I can't remember the last time he scored a top 10. He's wrecked out at Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega in the spring, the Daytona 500. I think he's crashed out of every super speedway this year. So the numbers are horrifying for him. And plus 11, even if you score stage points, that can be erased with a wreck. So Hamlin's in a terrible position right now, despite being plus 11. But if he finishes the race, gets a top 10, scores a couple stage points, hey, that's not a bad place to be. So concern level on the scale of 1 to 10, like a 7. Bowman, despite his fantastic day, is only plus 8. Won a stage, finished in the top 10, is only plus 8. A little bit concerning. He is a decent super speedway racer. We saw how good he did at Atlanta a few weeks ago. If he can do that again, he'll be fine. But still scary. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano, the points gap is bad. Concern level 10 out of 10. But these are two really good super speedway racers. Chase Elliott in the next gen era at the super speedways has been fantastic when he doesn't get wrecked. Joey Logano is our most recent super speedway winner. But the problem for Logano is that was his first super speedway win, or his second super speedway win in like 6 years. So when he doesn't win, he usually crashes out. So I'm not going to tell him to win or crash, but if you don't win, there's a good chance you crash. So Logano just finished the race. If you're not winning, get a top 10, top 15. Hope some other guys have problems. Tyler Reddick, as I said last night, just what has happened to this team is just astounding. It's a curse at this point. Think about it. 2022. In the next gen era, it is a curse to win the regular season championship. 2022, Chase Elliott wins the regular season championship, has 4 wins in the regular season, clinched the regular season title with 2 to go, the most dominant team of the year. Then the playoffs start. I think they only had two top 10s in the entire playoffs. The win at Talladega, the runner-up at Bristol. Now, they snuck into the championship 4. I don't remember how. Genuinely don't remember how. But they somehow, someway got into the Final 4, and they crashed and finished 4th in the points. 2023, Martin Truex Jr. wins the regular season championship. Now, I don't think it was as comfortable as Elliott. Like, I don't think he clinched a race early, but he headed into the last race like knowing, all right, we basically got this locked because we would have to wreck on lap 1 and the other guy would have to win. And then all of a sudden in the playoffs, like it was a horrific collapse. Like, they got eliminated in the round of 12, I think. It was horrible. They blew a tire at Kansas on lap 2. They wrecked out at Darlington, I think, or blew an engine or something. Wrecked at Talladega, wrecked somewhere. I mean, collapse. And then Tyler Reddick this year wins the regular season championship. And so far in the playoffs, he has put up, don't remember, I think he got a top 15 at Atlanta, which was enough. Watkins Glen, he spun out and was terrible the entire race. Bristol, he was irrelevant. And then yesterday, they did nothing of significance. So being the regular season champion in the next gen era is actually like a curse. So next year, I think it's going to be desired to not win the regular season championship. And once again, we are talking very early here. Tyler Reddick could go win Talladega again, and he could make a march and go win the championship. He's not eliminated from championship contention. I'm just saying, ever since they won that regular season championship, they have been bad. That is what I'm nicely trying to say. But -4 heading into Talladega is a horrifying position to be in. Suarez -14, that is bad position to be in. And then Briscoe and Cindric. I will say for Austin Cindric, though, the one thing he's got going for him, he's a fantastic super speedway racer. He's won multiple stages at these super speedways. He'll be a factor to win the race. But he also hasn't won a super speedway since his Daytona 500 win over 2.5 years ago. So, yeah, I think it's a must-win for Austin Cindric, but I've seen crazier things happen at Talladega. So there are 2 of our Bubble breakdowns. I'll make the truck one short. So the truck series is going to their round of 8. And, yeah, we had some eliminations this week. Daniel Dye and Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes will not be a 3-time Truck Series championship winner as of 2024. He tries again in 2025. Talladega doesn't even matter for Eckes and Heim. Like, it would take a historic collapse, so they're in. They're fine. I'm not even kidding. Like, they can wreck on lap 1, and they'll still make the championship 4. Ty Majeski, the points gap's not great, but he's been consistently the 3rd best guy this year. And you got Martinsville in there, and Ty Majeski's a great short track racer, so he could very well go win Martinsville despite having a bad Talladega. So I think he's fine too. Then we get to the Bubble, and the Bubble, the big thing is, can one of these 4 guys win? Because I just truly believe there's just a big gap in the trucks this year. These 2 are a class of the field. Majeski's the next step, and then it's another step down, and then it's Sanchez. And Raja Caruth at times this year has shown that he can compete and he can kind of be in that tier with Sanchez. Hasn't quite done it enough, I don't think. But once again, like, he looked really good at Bristol, Vegas in the spring, you know. So Raja Caruth, I think, is the biggest threat to Nick Sanchez. He's bottom 3 if they win, but Infinger's made the championship 4 before. There's that veteran presence, but Truck Series, I just feel a little bit more. There's a little bit more of a gap throughout the field that will ultimately just kind of plague, I guess, any threat of a upset happening. Hate to be a downer on it, but it's just my opinion. Scorpius is having hope for Suarez. Well, the good news for Suarez, if you look at his round 1, he did great at the road course and he did great at the super speedway. He did horrific at the non-road course super speedway. This round, he did decent at the non-super speedway, and we go to a super speedway and a road course next. So that's a good reason to have hope. He's -13, or -14, which is not great. It's really not great, let's be honest. But if he runs top 5 all day at Talladega like he did at Atlanta and scores stage points at the Roval, Daniel Suarez, round of 8. We can't rule it out. We really can't. Denver asks, do you think it will be a huge coup to bring Daniel Ricciardo in the Cup Series and Xfinity Series? I've heard that Daniel expressed his desire to race in NASCAR. Yeah, I don't know, because Ricciardo in the past, he's expressed his love for NASCAR, his love for Dale Earnhardt, which is super cool. But he's also said he doesn't want to race on ovals. And so for a full-time thing, no, I don't think it'll happen unless he grows the courage, I guess, to get on an oval. But I think for sure next year we could see him in the Project 91 car at Trackhouse, maybe, at a road course. COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, would be a fantastic destination for Daniel Ricciardo to go to. It's a racetrack he's raced at before, and that doesn't necessarily translate stock car success after, F1 success. But hey, it's a track you're familiar with, and just when you're completely switching series to a different car, a different culture, a different everything from every single aspect, I think some familiarity would be nice for someone. So I think if he were to go to Coda versus, let's say, Watkins Glen, I do think that would be a big help. But I think that it would be a win for both sides. Ricardo gets his face out there. Ricardo, I know he's big over here in the U.S., so he's one of the more popular drivers. So that would be a lot of eyeballs on him. But for NASCAR, too, I'm always in the opinion if NASCAR can get an international driver, whether they're from Australia, Mexico, Canada, Peru, South Africa, Mongolia, Somalia, Algeria, Germany, Finland, wherever it's from. Like, it's a big plus for NASCAR to have a driver from another country because, as I've seen firsthand on this channel, like, it's a big deal to the fans of that driver from that home country or from that home region that you can gain a lot more fans, international fans, and that can build, that can escalate to kind of what we've seen with Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez from Mexico has a big following, has a big fan base, and look what we're doing next year. And yes, conveniently, Mexico is our next door neighbor, and that does help for the international race, but I don't think they'd be going to Mexico without Daniel Suarez. I mean, I think he's a big part of that because of his influence, because of his success. So having an international driver, if they can eventually make the full-time transition or anything, or just even make a few part-time starts to get eyeballs from somewhere else, I personally think it's a big deal, no matter where they're from or when it happens. So I'd love to see Ricardo over here. I like Daniel Ricciardo. It's unfortunate how it ended for him, but now for him, it's a time to explore. It's a time to try something different. Why not go have fun with your career? You've got global recognition. You're a popular driver. Why not go have fun? Why not go race at NASCAR? Go to IndyCar for a race or go race a season in IndyCar. Go crazy, man. So I'm all for Ricardo racing in NASCAR. Part-time or full-time. Let's see how we're doing time-wise. Okay, cool. Alex says, I found the truck series kind of lackluster this year with the lack of depth and talent. Last year and the year before were super entertaining. I will say, I hate to say that I agree, but I have found the truck series like the least appealing of the series this year. I would say the biggest appeal is Heim versus Eckes, because those two have just been obliterating the field this year, and it's been extremely impressive to see how they've done. But outside of that, like, Raja Caruth's win at Vegas was really cool. I got to be there for that. Ty Majeski winning a couple races. Lane Riggs winning back-to-back races at short tracks, like what he's known for. That was really cool. Outside of that, though, I mean, I don't even know how many drivers have wins this year. Let's see. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have to go to Kyle Busch to get our next winner? Are you serious? We've had 7 winners this year, I think, in the truck series. Like, so I kind of get what you're saying, but yeah, and it sucks that we're not going to have Heim Eckes Part 2 next year, or that they're not going to be fighting each other in the Xfinity Series. This sounds bad. This is going to sound bad, but I really hope that someone steals Corey Heim from Toyota. Because Corey Heim has done everything right. He has won races. He should have won the championship in the Truck Series last year. He might win the championship in the Truck Series this year. But he has yet to get promoted. Why is he not in Xfinity next year? Why is he not in Cup? Like, why has he not been promoted? I mean, I know why. Because of funding / there's something with him and Joe Gibbs Racing. It just blows my mind that Toyota is not more pressed to get him up, to get him into the Xfinity Series full time, to get him up in the Cup Series. Like, Eckes is going Xfinity racing next year. And Eckes has been just as successful. Like, blows my mind. Truly blows my mind. If Toyota loses him, oh boy. And I do think that if someone stepped in and tried to poach Corey Heim, then maybe Toyota would, start to sweat and say, all right, here we go. Here's a seat for you. Here's a seat for you. But I don't know. I don't know. Jimmy Johnson nowhere to be found yesterday. As I said in my video yesterday, I completely forgot Jimmy Johnson was racing until someone pointed out that he wrecked on lap 1. I forgot he existed. 36th, 1 point. Let's check the point standings, see where Jimmy Johnson sits. If you're a Jimmy Johnson fan, look away. We got to go all the way to the bottom. These are drivers who have declared for Cup Series points. Cam Waters, 1 start, 2 points. 1 start, 5 points for Juan Pablo. Look at this list. Cam Waters, Juan Pablo Montoya, Will Brown, Kamui Kobayashi, and David Reagan, all on the same standing sheet. Where is he? Jimmy Johnson. 7 starts. 40 points. Yeah, that's rough. For reference, Cody Ware has made the same amount of starts and has more than double the points. That's pretty bad. I mean, guys, I get that we're not expecting Jimmy Johnson to go out there like prime Jimmy Johnson and obliterate the field, but after seeing what he did from 2006 to 2016, it is a little bit of a wow. I don't know how else to put it. All right. Get me today! Exclamation point tech. Welcome to the live stream. You picked Ross on Monday? I don't know. I don't remember. But congratulations. We got a Monday pick correct. Because usually I try to, I have a few that I remember. But I remember the names. I remember a Buscher in there. I do remember Chastain. Get me today! Exclamation point tech. Very good. Round of applause for you. Monday pick correct. My Monday picks, I got Corey Heim right. That's about it. So, yeah. Daniel Hemrick should stay in Xfinity at this point. At least he's solid over there. I mean, Hemrick, yeah. I mean, go back to Xfinity, maybe trucks. Go to a top-tier truck ride. Eckes is leaving, so take that spot. Go dominate the trucks or something, but yeah. Tough. It's tough for Hemrick. I mean, he's had a bad year this year. He hasn't had a great colleague stint in the Cup Series. Even his Xfinity Series stint there wasn't the prettiest. But Daniel Hemrick, you feel bad for the guy. He's getting replaced by Ty Dillon, of all people. Excuse me. Dan Jazz, I mean, yes, we can say, oh, Daniel Ricciardo, he's got all this money, he can go wherever he wants, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, he's still human. Getting fired sucks. Essentially, this is going to be the end of his F1 career. Not being able to do something that you love anymore, it's going to suck. Yes, what you're saying is technically true in a sense, but I mean, it still sucks for him. It's still gonna hurt. He's still human. He still has emotions. He still has passion for F1, for racing, and he's getting told, no, you can't do it anymore. No, you are not good enough anymore. That's a gut punch. That's a dagger to the heart. It's gonna hurt him. So I feel bad for the guy. Once again, I think I said this in the video. I feel bad when someone gets fired regardless, because at the end of the day, it's still their life. Just saying. I think both Trackhouse cars will make the playoffs next year. Well, there's 3 Trackhouse cars next year, so the question is, if you mean all 3, then well, that's pretty simple. Then yeah, all 3 get in. But if you mean 2 of the 3, then which 2 is the question? All right. I'm gonna get the entry list for this week's race up. We got a triple header at Talladega. I'm gonna make my Monday picks. I would love to hear your Monday picks. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right, entry list. Let's go trucks first. Let's just do this in order. So we've got a triple header at Talladega. Talladega is unpredictable. All right, okay, I can show you my screen now. Cool. Triple header at Talladega. Let's make some picks. Monday picks for Talladega. Pick a name out of the hat. I will say trucks. I've got no idea in trucks, man. Let's have fun with it, man. Timmy Hill. Timmy Hill is my Monday pick for the truck series. His brother about won this race 3 years ago. I was there for it. I picked him, and he almost won. Let's do it again. Let's stick with the Hill Motorsports machine. Timmy Hill is my Monday pick for the NASCAR Truck Series. Jackson's picking Bailey Curry. Oh, yeah. Come on, guys. Bring it to me. Everyone with their Monday picks, bring me the craziest name you can. It's Talladega, baby. Let's see the weird winners. I got Timmy Hill winning on Friday. That's right. It's a Friday trucks race. Let's go to the Xfinity entry list. If it would load. Dang it. Load. Xfinity entry list. Let me zoom it. All right. So, my Monday pick for trucks is Timmy Hill. Hunter says he's going with Lane Riggs. In between the lanes is going with Matt Crafton. Jackson is going with Bailey Curry. So now let's go with the Xfinity Series Monday picks. David is going with me on the truck pick. Timmy Hill. Oh, yeah. Timmy Hill, he's getting it done this week. Corey Heim. Bill's going with Corey Heim in the trucks. All right. Monday picks for Xfinity. All right. You see, I kind of want to go boring on this one and go Austin. You see, in between the lanes says Austin Hill. Like, I kind of want to go boring and just go play it safe and say Austin Hill, but I just picked a really weird winner. I really want to just pick 3 really weird winners and just pray that one of them sticks. But then again, I had the luck with Harrison Burton at Daytona. I don't think I can replicate that, but you know what? Might as well try it. So, Xfinity. Should I pick Cesar Baccarella? I'm not picking Cesar Baccarella. That's too crazy. Oh, man. I'm struggling here. Okay, I'm going to read some of your Monday picks before I make mine. So Waffles X Aussie says Dye will win the Truck Series race. Alive in Christ says Tanner Gray is his pick. John Ray for the Xfinity Series is picking Carson Kvapil. In between the lanes picked Austin Hill for Xfinity. Alex is going with the Sanchez. Kyle Larson. Alex, you're picking Kyle Larson to win at Talladega. That's the boldest pick on this Monday after. You could pick the NY Racing car to win. I'm not going to lie. You might have a better chance. It's no disrespect to Larson, but his Talladega numbers have been horrendous. I tell you what, Alex, if Kyle Larson wins, I will. Hey, yeah, see, Alex, yeah, you said to pick someone dark. I did say to pick someone dark horse. All right, I gotta give that one to you. That's really fun. That's really good. Way to go. That made me. That's genuinely funny. Like, I appreciate it, man. Alex, you're the. I don't know. You get the reward for commenter of the day just for that. That's really funny. I gotta go back. I'm gonna screenshot that because that's just the funniest thing ever. Oh, can I get it? Oh, let's go. I can't get it in one screenshot. That's amazing. Okay. Red is picking Custer for Xfinity. Bill is picking Retzlaff. There's an underdog pick right there, baby. I missed one. There was one that said SVG, but it said more. SVG drives through hill through the wind, says Steph. Dude, if you drive through someone at Talladega to win, like, you're getting punched. You're getting punched or you're getting obliterated the next week. That's borderline attempted murder if you do that at Talladega. So, I mean, if Hill throws a block and it's Hill's fault, then I guess. But if he, like, goes out of his way, then... Oh, we got a Kyle Weatherman pick. We got a Riley Herbst pick. Denver says, my Xfinity pick SVG to gain some serious points and get under everyone's guard. May not win, but puts himself in position for the Roval race to strike. All right, so a competitive finish, not necessarily the win, but a competitive finish. Give me today, exclamation point text says, going bold with Ryan Ellis. Man, we're going crazy with these Monday picks. The Monday picks are going crazy today. I might have to trim this and make this a video just because this is incredible. I mean, we have never seen such a wide range of names across all three series because we haven't had a triple header at a super speedway since we've been doing this. So, I mean, it's crazy, man. Let's just go through the names. Let's just go crazy. Before I make my Xfinity pick, we're going to go through every single name that's been mentioned so far. Trucks, Xfinity, Cup. Chase Briscoe, Matt Crafton, Bailey Curry to win the Truck Series race. Sam Mayer for Xfinity, Reddick for Cup. That's Jackson. I'll put, I'm going to start saying with the names. Hunter says going with Briscoe for Cup. In between the lanes says Crafton for Trucks. Bailey Curry for Trucks says Jackson. Jackson also says Sam Mayer for Xfinity and Reddick for Cup. Hunter says Lane Riggs for Truck. Marty says William Byron for Cup, Sam Mayer for Xfinity. David is going with me, Timmy Hill, to win the Trucks race. Bill is going with Corey Heim for the Trucks race. In between the lanes said Austin Hill for the Xfinity race. Alex is going with Sanchez, Creed, and underdog Kyle Larson. Red is going with Taylor Gray for the Trucks. Waffles X Aussie is saying Dye will win the Truck Series race. Alive in Christ says Tanner Gray is his pick for Trucks. I'm assuming. I don't know if he's in Xfinity. Wait. 1919. Taylor Gray. It's Taylor Gray. I always get him mixed up. Red says Taylor Gray for the Trucks. Thank you for specifying there. I should have just looked up. Xfinity, Anthony Alfredo for Alive in Christ. Carson Quapple says John Ray. Waffles X Aussie is saying Kligerman for Xfinity. Staff Mattio NZ says SVG will drive through Austin Hill for the win. Red says Custer for Xfinity. Bill says Retzlaff. Denver says SVG is going to get a bunch of points. Jackson also said Herbst for Xfinity. Hunter said Weatherman for Xfinity. Get me today, exclamation point. Tech said Ryan Ellis. Josh Williams is the pick for Klaus NZ. Get me today, exclamation point. Tech says Hocevar for the Cup Series. David says Sammy Smith for Xfinity. In between the lanes said Crafton for Trucks, Hill or Creed for Xfinity, and Busch for Cup. Alive in Christ also said Allmendinger for Xfinity. Hunter said Blaney for Cup. Alive in Christ said Josh Berry for Cup. And Jackson is saying Ryan Preece for Cup. So the wide range of names that we just listed. Now I have to make my Xfinity pick. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just going to wait for a name to stick out on the page to me. Found it. All right, cool. Anthony Alfredo is my pick. So we're going with Timmy Hill in the Truck Series. We're going Anthony Alfredo in the Xfinity Series. And now for the Cup Series. Cup Series entry list. Go. There we go. All right. Now it's time for the Cup Series. We got a Todd Gilliland pick from Bill. John Hunter Nemechek from Red. Waffles X Aussie says picking Hamlin. So once again, a wide range of drivers. Justin Haley from David. You see, sometimes I look at the sponsor list and I'm thinking, I think the paint scheme, and I'm like, can I see this paint scheme winning at this track? Let's see. Klaus NZ says SVG for the Cup win, shocked the world. Hey, he did lead some laps in the spring. You never know. If that outside line stays intact this time, maybe, just maybe. Who do I want to pick for the Monday pick for the Cup Series? It will be hilarious when Anthony Alfredo wins in the Beard Motorsports car on Sunday because I picked him in Xfinity. Oh, man, I will be raging. Not raging, but I'll be regretting decisions or regretting picks. Regretting decisions sounds more serious. Let's see here. Okay. Cup. What the hell? Damn. This is tough. Because I don't think it'll be as crazy as Harrison Burton, but I think we could see a weird winner. Let's go. I don't know. I think I picked Todd Gilliland before the playoffs. But he didn't have a great Atlanta. That's kind of making me second guess myself. You know what would be a great kind of redemption story? Oh no. We're not Zane Smith. Zane Smith has been so good the last couple of months. They have been like so consistent. They've been consistently top 15, top 20. Got a top 10 at Kansas on raw speed last week. Kansas and Talladega completely different. I shouldn't be comparing them, but this team is hot right now. Zane Smith is motivated. Zane Smith. That's my Monday pick for the Cup Series. So I have gone out there, and my Monday picks are Timmy Hill in the Truck Series, Anthony Alfredo in the Xfinity Series, and Zane Smith in the Cup Series. If I get any one of those three, I will be unbearable for the next week. Kind of like I still am about Harrison Burton in Daytona. Eric Jones is another pick. Alfredo's in the 62 in the Cup race. Should pick him to win the Cup race. Okay, I will say. All right. John. Anthony Alfredo. That 62 car only races at the super speedways, Daytona and Talladega. But for some reason, they always show up. They get a top 10 with Parker Retzlaff at Daytona. They get a top 10 with Anthony Alfredo at the Spring Talladega. They almost won this race 5 years ago with Brendan Gaughan. Brendan Gaughan flipped out of the lead. I'm not even kidding. He got turned across the field while leading and started flipping. So the 62 always shows up at these races. And, well, you never know. You never know. I'm not picking him to win on Sunday. I will say it's possible. But you never know. You never know at Talladega. So to further just solidify my Monday picks, I've seen all your Monday picks. We've seen a John Hunter Nemechek, Todd Gilliland, Denny Hamlin, Anthony Alfredo, Ryan Priest, Josh Berry, AJ Allmendinger, Matt Crafton, Sammy Smith, Carson Hocevar, Josh Williams, Kyle Weatherman, Riley Herbst, Parker Retzlaff, Cole Custer, Parker Kligerman again, Sheldon Creed, Tanner Gray, Taylor Gray, Corey Heim, Timmy Hill, William Byron, Sam Mayer, Lane Riggs. We've seen almost every single name on the entry list, it seems. But to wrap things up, my Monday picks are Friday, Timmy Hill. Saturday, who did I say for Saturday? Anthony Alfredo. Can't even remember who I picked. Sunday, I am going to go with the one, the only, Zane Smith. So, that will do it. Can I save the live? How do I save the live chat? I don't know how to do that. I got it pulled up. I got my little YouTube studio. Let's see what manage does. Oh. Okay, no, that says I have to... settings? No. Stream settings. Okay, let's see what that does. See, I'm kind of blocking myself here. Viewer activity. Stream health. Analytics. I sit on the analytics the whole time. I don't know how to save them. I can do a bunch of screenshots on my phone. I got a little storage, I guess. Let's see here. Ooh. Screenshotting all these pics just in case someone gets them right. All right, I think I got them all. It only took like 5. I thought that would have been more, but export chat messages and export settings. Just looked on Google. I tell you what, I'll figure out how to do it for next week. Because frankly, I'm scared that if I click on something, it'll shut down the stream. I mean, we're about to shut this down. We got only a couple minutes left here, but I'll figure out how to save the chat at some point. Enable DVR, is that it? Hold on. Okay, we're going to start Googling. I'm not tech savvy. Let me Google this. That's not it. How to allow live chat replay YouTube. I'm wasting everyone's time here as I try to figure this out. Okay, live dashboard. Okay, I think I'm there. Click edit in the top right. Click customization. Okay. Click live chat. It says it's on. It says it's on. So live chat replay should be on. I don't know how you view it, but it should be on. My settings say it's on. So, yeah. I guess we can always come back to this on Monday. So, thank you again for everyone showing up here on Monday for the Monday after. We made some wild Monday picks. I picked Timmy Hill, Anthony Alfredo, Zane Smith. We saw some John Hunter Nemechek picks. We saw some Anthony Alfredo Cup picks. We saw an SVG Cup pick. We saw Hocevar. We saw Matt Crafton. We saw Bailey Curry was someone's pick. So thanks for watching this again. I very much appreciate the support. I will see you guys in the next live stream or the next video, I guess. We'll be back for the Monday after next week. Monday, whatever, October 7th, I think it is. But thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everyone showing up to these things, asking good questions, and then making their Monday picks with me. I always have fun doing that. So I'll see you guys next week and or later in this week, and then next week for the Monday after. So I'll keep you updated on the rest of the stuff.